Subscribe to AmpCode and ring the notification bell to get the latest content.
Okay, so enough talking. We got a clear understanding of the main components of Hadoop, which are like HDFS, which is the storage layer, the yarn, which is resource manager, and also the heart of Hadoop, which is MapReduce, which is the processing engine of Hadoop. So now let's run a very simple MapReduce job to able to understand how it processes the data under the hood. So we will be having a simple Python script. So to able to run MapReduce job in Python, we need some additional functionality like mr job, and we need to set some Python commands. So for that purpose, we need to run few commands to set up the mr job as well as the Python to able to write the code in Python for kicking off our MapReduce job. So what it does is in Python, the py4j will convert that into a MapReduce job, and it will then again splits the task across the cluster, and as we have seen, it will create mappers and reducers functions. So but for that we need to structure our job into a Python script. So if you want to follow along, just kick off your Hadoop cluster because it will take 15 to 20 minutes to boot off. And in the meantime, let's learn the code and see how it works. Okay, so before jumping on to understanding the Python script, first we need to understand the data file that we have. So we have a bit bigger file. So like we have this file which is present in the .data format. So this is the file. So this is the ratings.data file that we are going to use and process it using the MapReduce. So as you can see, we don't have the header file. So this file has don't have any headers. So basically the first one is the user ID, the second one is the movie ID, and this is the rating for that movie. So basically our main goal is to extract the most popular movies in this data set. So what we can do is, it is very simple process. So first we need to make it as a key value pair. That will be the first step. So we will be having the movie ID as well as the rating. So that will be the output of the first mapper function. And in the next function, we are going to count how many ratings are there in for a particular movie ID. So let's say if we have the movie ID 50, and there might be like 5 to 10 different ratings given by different users in this file, so that it will aggregate it, and the next step will be we will get the sum of these ratings. So which means that it will sum all the ratings for a particular movie. So this is just grouping the data together to get the most popular movie. This is very simple application, and it is just to get you understanding of how MapReduce works under the hood. So once you get hold on the syntax, you can try complex examples where we are joining different data files to get some meaning out of it, and maybe do some rule based analytics on top of it. So possibilities are endless. But to get you started, this is very simple example that we are going to run now. So let's move on to the code. So as you can see, this is a simple Python script. So if you are aware about like basics of Python, this is just a piece of cake for you. So here we need to import few modules to able to define the MapReduce job in the Python language. So as we already know that Python has a rich set of libraries to able to integrate with different platforms. So similarly, we can integrate MapReduce as well using the mrjob package. So in this mrjob, we will have to import mrjob and mrstep. So these are the two functions that we need to able to define our MapReduce job. So basically we have written a class named ratings breakdown, and we are going to do mapping and reducing step by step. So first step will be like defining what is like the structure of our MapReduce job. So basically we have the two-step procedure here. In the first procedure we have the mapper function, which is mapper get ratings. We have the reducer function, which is reducer count ratings, and also in the next step we are further grouping the data together to get us the required output, which is the reducer sorted output, right? So for that, the first one is the mapper get rating, which is the mapping function. So as you already know, mapping functions gets the data and converts them into a key value pair. It is quite simple. So our file is a tab delimited file. So as you can see, the delimiter between the two values in this file is tab. So that's why we need the help of split function to able to define all the attributes, since we are only interested in the movie ID and the count of it. So that's all. So we are only interested in the movie ID field from that ratings.data, right? So for mapping purpose, as we have user ID, movie ID, ratings and the timestamp, and we have splitted it according to the tab. So that's why we are only yielding the movie ID and 1. So you may ask, what is this one? So we are just, so since our key will be movie ID, we are just giving 1 because all we have to do is we just need to calculate how much ratings a particular movie has. So if like a particular movie appeared 5 times, our goal is to get the movie ID, which is like maybe for example 20, and we have the 5. So that is our end goal. So in the reducer count ratings, we are just getting the sum of those values. So the reducer means that if a particular movie appeared 20 times, then it will give the movie ID, which is like the key, as well as we have like the sum of values, which is maybe 20, right? So this is how the reducer works. But we also need to sort it to get the most popular movie at the top. So for that, we will just use the sorted output function to get the most popular movie at the top of our data file and the result output. And we are just running our ratings breakdown using the run method. So this is pretty simple and self-explanatory code, and that's why we choose Python, because every beginner level developer will able to understand what is going on and what is the flow, because Python is the most readable language I can imagine. So this is how the code is structured. So all we have to do is we need this code as well as the ratings.data file in our Hadoop sandbox. So I have it on my GitHub repository. So we are going to utilize wget method or wget command to able to download these files into our Hadoop cluster, so that we can directly kick it off using a simple Python command. So but before that, we need to set up mrjob and Python to able to run this script. So let's jump on and start executing our code. But also for communicating with our Hadoop cluster, we should be having some tool which is like a terminal. So there are several tools out there which is like MobiXterm or Putty Terminal. So you can download any of that tool. It is quite simple. You just have to put it download in Google and just install that. It's a pretty simple installation and it doesn't require any further steps. So you just have to download that, and if you have that, we can able to connect to Hadoop cluster using the Maria_dev credentials.
So that's it for today. I'll see you in the next lecture.